What's going on, good people? Welcome to another episode of Share the Vibes podcast. I am Devin Jenkins, aka Jink the DJ, founder CEO, Share the Vibes LLC, your host, your DJ, your man with the plan or lack thereof. Glad to have my friends back with me today. First and foremost, my co-host, 1J Thompson, founder, CEO, Audio Moguls Media, which is the holder of the podcast network that we are a part of. 1J, how you doing?
What's going on, man? Devin, what's going on with you, man? It's been a nice little week, man. It's been a nice little week, but we riding, we rocking, and we rolling. Got a great guest, great show for y'all coming up. But how you been, man? How you been?
Man, I'm good. Yeah, it's been a little while, but I'm good, man. It's been pretty decent weather down here in Charlotte.
Okay.
No, every time I talk to Milwaukee, it's snow, and y'all trying to figure out how to get in or out of school, and I'm just looking at the window. It's like it's sunny out. The girls trying to go draw on the sidewalk with chalk. So
That's crazy.
But no, it's been good, man. I can't complain.
Dope, man. I think we should go ahead and introduce our guest because this man right here, boy, I tell you, y'all in for a treat. Y'all in for a treat. You want to go ahead and do it, Devin?
Yeah, let's get into it, man. So today we have someone who's become a great supporter of Share the Vibes, but also one and I look up to and glad to be connected with. So we have Cardiac the Pulse with us today.
Yes.
If you haven't heard that name before, jot that down, put a pin on it, put it in your notes section. You will sooner or later. So Cardiac, how you doing, man?
I am doing fine, fellas. Thank you for having me, fellas.
Man,
Thanks for pulling up
on.
and coming through.
Man, I am honored. It's beautiful today.
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna enjoy this.
Hey, you should. You should. Yes, I met Cardiac last year. I want to say it was probably around the May, June time frame. It wasn't too long before the festival was getting ready to start. I think either 1J invited you or you just hopped in the Facebook group. I know you dropped in the Facebook group one day, and I don't even think you shared it, but somebody had just shared your song Caught Up. And I had no clue who you were, but I listened to the song. I think I had just heard it right before I did the podcast with Tone, I think it was, with Tone Deaf Radio. I think it was on the, what was it, Where I'm From podcast? I think that's the name of it.
Yep, Where I'm From, yep.
I think I just heard it right before we recorded it. He was like, "So who's the new artist you heard lately?" I was like, I just heard it's like Cardiac the Pulse. I think I said your name. I was like, it was like, Cardiac something about Cardiac. He's like, oh yeah, Cardiac the Pulse, yeah. Yeah, so yeah, his song Caught Up, man, it is a vibe. My God. No, and then you reached out in the Facebook group, found out that you're a real person doing your thing, and we talked in Messenger, and eventually we were able to link up. I met your son, and I think you were working when we had the festival last year, but you came through to the Sunday Fun Day vibe, so we got to get in, have a good time before you headed out. But man, you just dropped a new project, which we're gonna get into that in a little bit. But let's just start with kind of you. So tell the people who don't know you, who is Cardiac the Pulse?
Man, Cardiac is a father. First, I feel like I'm a father before I'm anything. I'm an artist, born and raised in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I always say Mississippi is my second home.
Okay. What part?
Jackson and Yazoo City.
Yazoo City. Okay.
My mother still lives in Jackson. I was between Jackson, Mississippi, Yazoo City, Katy, Texas, and Tennessee for a long time. Just about every summer I was down there.
Okay.
And whatnot, so that's where a lot of my family resides at. I work. Artistic by nature, I guess. I've been an artist since I was this was like a big revelation a few years ago for me because I didn't realize I've always been an artist, right?
Okay.
I didn't realize that when I was in elementary, I was doing plays.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
Right. And then third grade, I was a tap dancer.
Okay.
You wouldn't expect me to be tap dancing, would you? But
you still got your shoes?
I was tap dancing. Hell no. I don't know where them joints at, bro.
Yeah, the tap.
You know what I'm saying? But they had us looking at Gregory Hines and all that kind of stuff then.
Okay.
After that, it was poetry.
Oh, okay.
I got in
progression here.
Yeah, I got into poetry really heavy, and then my first few years of high school, it was the trumpet. I was part of band.
Okay, same here. Trumpet.
Okay.
Yes,
You trumpet player?
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while. It's been a long while.
Hey, bro, it's been over a decade since I touched the trumpet.
Yeah,
so.
That's how I am
I'm
with
super
drumsticks now, man. It's been a minute, but I was a percussionist. So.
Oh, you were? Okay.
Yeah.
Boy, I felt so bad. They was like, do the beat. I was like, oh, man. They was like, nah, bro, just go ahead and be on that trumpet, fam.
I was just, but it felt more natural to me to be on the trumpet. I don't know why the horn just felt natural. Like my guy, he was saxophone.
Okay.
So we was right next to each other and whatnot, you know. So it was fun. I at first I didn't really want to do it, and my mama put me into it, but then like I loved it, and I didn't like want to stop. I used to bring my trumpet home.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Not playing with trumpet in the house, you know.
That spit valve, I hated that.
That spit valve is nasty,
push
bro.
a little button, all that
it's
spit
gross,
come out.
Bro. It's
Man.
nasty, bro. It's nasty, bro.
Yeah,
my best friend in high school, he was teaching me like I think it was the B flat scale on his trombone one day, and I had keep cleaning out the spit valve. I was like, man, this is different, bro. I ain't got to worry about that.
Bro. It pile up in there, bro, and if you don't get to it, bro, it's gross, bro. It's gross. They got to figure out a new way to do that. It's got to be a new way. We got to figure something out, bro.
That's tight, man. That's tight. Trumpet, you percussion. That's what's up. Trumpet. Yeah, man. That's what's up.
That's dope. You got artistic progression there.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So you said from plays to getting into poetry, tap dance. I skip over to tap dancing, to poetry, to playing music. How did we get into now rap? Because like you touch almost every. I mean, you got an EGOT.
So many words.
You got an EGOT. So how do we get into rapping?
Let me see. So in middle school, I went to Jackie Robinson Middle School, which is a communication and science school.
Okay.
And whatnot. So we did a lot of presentations. That's probably why I learned to speak in front of people because we always had to do presentations, talking with your hands and body language and, eye contact and all those kind of things. Where did I get into rap? It was in high school. I wasn't rapping yet, but everybody else was.
Okay.
Everybody was battling. It was this, it was that, freestyles. And my one guy, he was good, doing the beat on the table with the pencils and whatnot and the pens, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it was probably when I left high school, I first got into it. I knew a few dudes who rapped, and one of my guys, Buster, he was part of some group, and he connected me to a guy named Young Oki. He's from here, and I met him at like the library one day.
Okay,
and I told him that I kind of rapped a little bit, but I hadn't really done a lot yet. I hadn't done anything yet. Let me say, and connected with him. He connected me to the Run the Rebels, whatever, where I was part of Run the Rebels, where I ended up being signed to Trio Records later.
Okay.
And whatnot. So, but it was right before that, I start rapping. I got a guy named John who used to make the beats on, I can't think what the program, but on the PlayStation.
Oh.
PlayStation 1, PS1, he used to make the beats.
Was it the MTV joint? It was MTV.
It might have been. He used to make his beats there, and then he started giving me and my guy Justin and my guy Abraham started giving us the beats a little bit, and then we tried our hand at it, and then one day he gave us something, and I came up with the hook. I was always really good at hooks, and whatnot. I was fast at hooks, and I came up with the hook for it. My verse is all right. I probably had the weakest verse in the bunch, if we being honest. It was terrible and whatnot. My other guys, they was way better at that. I remember we went to the studio, this guy named Fame. Fame ended up, he ran I-94 when Pistol and Business Boy and Rail and all of them, they all had a spot over there. But it was a house studio. He was still in the group. Okay. And I recorded with him first, and I recorded the record. And I just remember when I laid the hook down, the response to the hook was everybody was really going crazy over the course. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they was feeling it. You know?
Oh, that's dope. That's dope.
Do you find yourself pulling from those different artistic experiences? Like, my mind as a percussionist, when you said tap dance, and now I'm trying to think back, your cadence on some of your songs. Like, I can kind of hear the tap dance maybe coming out in that. Like, do you find yourself pulling from some of those past artistic experiences as you're creating your music?
Definitely with the poetry, and I've never even thought about the tap dancing, but that might be in there. That might be a new revelation and not even a new wrinkle I didn't think about.
That drum work.
The drum work. Yeah, that might be in there, Definitely the poetry, definitely me being in, like, the presentation stuff was big, and learning how to just speak properly and speaking into the microphone and, using my voice, and whatnot. I think that stuff really helped me early on.
You talked about some producers, artists, like one name that popped out in my mind, Business Boy, and we know how the incredible work he's doing. But all of the other producers that you're working with, talk a little bit about the music scene then, because you said some of your friends are already rapping. Just talk about the music scene. Like, were you hearing a lot of rappers coming out with their own mixtapes? Like, were there a lot of mixtapes out that people know about, or talk a little bit about that time?
If in context, I remember, what was that time frame?
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
This is early 2000s.
Okay.
I remember going places, and I had to have at least 2 or 3 36-bar verses on deck.
Oh wow!
Because I used to sell them on the street too, and whatnot. So people wanted to hear you rap, and we always had to be ready to rap. Of course, that's changed now, but you always had to be ready for it and whatnot. I remember Ray Rizzy. They were older than me, but I remember Rizzy. I remember Nitty. Mm-hmm. I remember Sincere.
Oh yes.
I remember Rico Love was here then. I remember Rico. Okay. He had already put the Settle Down record out.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, I remember he had a contest at Questions. I remember another group called what were they called? What was QP and them called? Game Official. I remember Scales. Well, he was JR the Superstar then. JR. I remember that then. I remember Vidal, he was from the East Side. I remember what's the old boy Genesis, who made the Duck Walk.
Yeah.
I remember a lot of those guys, and I remember me. His name used to be Pizzle, but I think it's Sherrod Sloan.
Yeah.
Him, I remember him. We all were signed to Trio at one point.
Okay.
All of us. I remember those times.
Yeah.
It was different times. I remember that. Kia, of course. Kia the rap princess. She was there too. I remember Kia was out then too. She was around then too. I remember all of them from that era.
That's interesting, man.
You said it was like Trio Records?
Era. Yes, sir.
Is that still around?
Yes, sir. I believe they just revamped it. I just saw a flyer that they revamped it.
Okay.
But it was the hub for a lot of us came through there. Sincere got famous through there. Rizzy and Nitty, they all came through there. A lot of people were signed there at the time, who were coming up through there.
Now, you mentioned Running Rebels earlier, and I've heard Running Rebels, but I didn't realize it was like an artistic funnel, if you will, into labels and things like that. Mm-hmm. So that was your process for getting signed, is going through Running Rebels, and maybe educate me, because I thought I knew what Running Rebels was, but I think I was just making assumptions, because clearly I was wrong. So I guess what is Running Rebels?
It was all the community stuff as well. It was all of that stuff as well, but he also had like the basketball stuff, the music program, which I was part of the music program, and whatnot. I remember him helping people get in the halfway houses. Some of the kids who were underage and whatnot, who had been doing certain things, he was helping them get in the places. Victor Barnett. I was part of the music program, and that's where I learned 16s. I learned 8 bars. I learned because they had producers already in place, like a guy named Logo. Shafi, a lot of those guys are already in place. They all been veteran producers and singers, ex-singers and songwriters. And that's where I learned that pretty much. I learned the structure of songs there and whatnot, because I didn't know how to count bars then. I learned how to count bars there. And I learned about the emphasis of a hook. We used to have like even like writing contests and whatnot, like who that they would play a beat, and if you wrote the best record, you would get it and whatnot. Sometimes you had to be fast and whatnot, you know. So sometimes you would take records from people. I remember having a record taken from me and me taking a record from somebody else because I wrote it better and whatnot. So.
Oh man, that sounds like boot camp. You know what I mean? Like actual music boot camp where, you know, you're getting the fundamentals. You're not just, you know, gimmicky. You know, you're actually sitting down, writing, learning, working, producing, all different type of stuff. Man, that sounds like a fun time. Where was I? Where I missed that at, man? God, no, that sounds like a great time, man.
There was also showing us how to hold microphones, how to perform.
Wow. Artist development.
It was artist development. It was how to practice, how to record. You know, you would hear yourself on. I mean, it was many times we would have records. We would write to a record. We would like go record, and they would take us off because, you know, you didn't fit the record. You didn't sound good enough for this record. You didn't have the confidence, or your flow was off. You didn't fit with what we were doing. It was a lot of that, and whatnot really early on for me.
Wow, that's dope, man. That's right here in our backyard. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
You know, I think, Devin, you talked about this again, but do you know if they still running it like that? Because that's, like I said, that sounds like it was a boot camp where, you know, people were learning the fundamentals of artist development and really learning how to grow. Do you know if they're still doing that, running that right now?
I don't know. I know my guy, y'all know him, Fifth, the artist.
Yes,
he's a part of that.
Okay.
And a couple others. I don't know if they're doing it the way that we were doing it then.
Yeah.
And whatnot, but it was definitely a build up. You had to go through the Run the Rebels program before you got the trio.
Oh wow. Yeah. That's dope. That's good. That's artist development 101. Like that's like Berry Gordy doing with the Jackson 5 and you know, Diana Ross and the Supremes, like you know, going through that process before you could become a star. That's amazing. And you, like I said, we got the Rico. I don't know if Rico Love was through that program, but you know, you got your Business Boys and all the stuff like that are people that are popping right now. But like I said, right here in our backyard.
Like Business Boy, they were a part of they had a different thing, but they were all linked to Trio.
Yeah, okay.
Everybody was kind of linked through there. I had met him maybe once or twice. Then I knew Rail more. And whatnot. I knew Rail more. I used to go to Rail's house because his cousin was DJ Willie Shakes.
Oh, okay.
And whatnot. And I used to go to Rail's house, and when he used to make beats for me there in his bedroom.
That's tight, man. That's great.
It sounds like Trio and Running Rebels need a documentary or something.
Yeah, no, like that sounds crazy, man. That's
they
crazy.
Might, bro. They might. It's been a lot of talent that came through there. Like no cap. It's a lot of talented guys that came through there.
Wow, that's dope. So my question to you is: so you got this artist development, you working, you know, you're getting taken off songs, you stealing other people's songs and all that good stuff. So what was that first song for you that says like I'm that guy? What was that song? What was that song for you? Or maybe it was something that you wrote for somebody else. Like what was that moment that said to yourself like I could do this?
I was in a group, and in the group we had it was a record. My first record ever, believe it or not, was produced by 88 Keys.
Really?
Right? 88 Keys came through Trio too. That's a lot of people came through there, bro. It was an 88 Keys beat, and somebody else had it, but I liked it, and we liked it, and I ended up writing the hook. I wrote one half of the hook. My guy wrote the other half of the hook. We ended up putting our verses to it, and then we just ended up taking over the record. And then I remember, like, because it was more of a conscious record. I was super conscious then.
Okay.
Everything was super conscious about my music at that point.
What was your artist name then?
It was Young LT then.
Young LT, okay.
And the group was called the Dream Team.
The Dream Team.
A typical Dream
Team. I've heard of Dream Team. Somebody mentioned that to me. I don't remember where I was. I think I might have been in my car listening to something. Somebody random walked to me. Was like, "Man, you heard Dream Team? You need to check out Dream Team." I'm gonna check my notes. It might even still be in my notes. Somebody mentioned Dream Team to me before.
That's funny.
That's dope.
Yeah, but it was at that day, that moment when we did the record, and we start performing the record, and we got like the reaction towards the record and whatnot, you know, because we was on some real raw hip hop shit. Like, I had to learn everything else, you know, like I just wanted to be super raw at that point and whatnot, you know, and that's kind of like where we were at that time. and whatnot. Like let's think Black Star, but but a little bit more. We called ourselves, we way more street conscious. Is what we called ourselves. Way more street conscious type of shit at the time.
So what happened with that? So what happened with the group? Like, when did you say, like, okay, I think now is it? I don't know. Like I said, I'm asking because right now, you're a solo artist. Do you still work with the group, or the group? Is the group still other members doing music still? How life goes. Sometimes we just like, I'm good.
That's it. Yeah. One of them still does.
Okay.
Class M, who's on Caught Up.
Okay.
He still he also did the backgrounds of Love for Free.
Oh, dope. Yes.
We were in the group. He was the other member of the group too.
Okay. Dope. Okay. That's dope.
Third, he ended up his rap name was Third Effect. He ended up stopping at a certain point and whatnot. I think he got kind of fed up with things and just kind of frustrated and whatnot, because we put a lot in. We were traveling, going to Chicago for contests, doing shows, Indiana, Minnesota. We did a lot of that early on, and then everybody just kind of got frustrated at a certain point. And I know Class, he went to Parkside at the time and whatnot, and I was back at home, and Third ended up, he just stopped. I remember just not hearing from him for a while. So then I kind of by default became a solo artist.
Okay. That's how we got the solo artist.
Yeah, I kind of by default, because I was like, okay, well, what am I going to do? Like, I still got all these songs that we had together and whatnot. And then, they kind of signed me as a solo artist at a certain point, and I had to kind of prove that I could do it without the group.
Yeah.
And whatnot, which is like my first real solo challenge.
That brings a lot of stuff to my mind. So first things first, because I don't want to spare false narratives. That was the Blessed team somebody mentioned to me. I checked my notes. I still got it in here. So I don't think I was able to find their stuff, but I heard they were dope. So shout out to Blessed team if you're listening. Nonetheless, so you started out kind of in this. Well, actually, it sounds like even before the group, you were writing a little bit, doing hooks and kind of touching different parts of the music and everything. But you had the group experience, transition to the solo experience. So what would you to maybe talk about the differences in the process creating as a group versus creating solo?
So, I mean, a lot of the group stuff, I came up with the concepts, majority of it anyway, and whatnot. My guy, Third, he came up with a lot of stuff too, but majority of the stuff that we end up doing is singles or is stuff we would perform would be the records I would come up with. So it was a little different from writing. I wrote one verse and they got the other two,
right,
and whatnot. Now I'm writing 3 verses or writing 2 verses and whatnot. So
plus a hook,
plus a hook, and even with performing, it was different, because I remember us performing at the Miramar, and us being able to kind of like the way the Locks did it, kind of being able to pick up on each other, and we were kind of running out of breath and saying ad libs and words, reinforcing words on stage and whatnot, to it just being me and me trying to learn some kind of breath control, because I was going way too crazy up there, way too energetic. I used to jump in crowds. I was very energetic and whatnot.
Crowd surfing.
It was a lot of energy. I run through the aisles. I swear to God, I run through the aisles and whatnot. And
young LT, huh?
Yeah. Indeed. Like, it really was that. And then, I had to kind of corral that a little bit. It's just me now. I got to kind of be a little more flat-footed. I can be active, but I can't go like that and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So I think those were 2 of the biggest differences. Even like recording songs, I'm used to us being together recording songs. Not just me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now I'm just picking the beats. Yeah. Now I'm just coming up with the stuff. Now I'm just doing it and trying to figure it out.
Do you make beats as well?
No.
Okay.
No. But they do call me a producer though.
Okay.
Because I think you have an ear. And you're gonna hear this in the project, but I think you have an ear for the right tracks, right music. Even like we talked about working on some mashups together, and some of the records that you sent over, I'm like, oh, this makes sense. Like, this is cool. Like, you know, like the DJ Khaled's, the P Diddy's, you know, the guys that may not actually touch, you know, the FL Studios or the Logics, but they know what a record sounds like. Maybe even like Berry Gordy. I don't even think Berry Gordy touched actual instrument, but
he didn't.
He knows what sounds good and know what's gonna make a hit. So for you, when it comes to picking beats, what is that? What is that like? What do you hear? Rick Ross, same thing.
Yep,
great at picking songs.
Yes, he is.
So like, what is that? What is that? What process do you go through when you're picking beats or working with a producer?
So when it comes to picking beats, it's whatever speaks to me. You know, I won't pick it if it doesn't speak to me. And whatnot, like the beat can be fire because there's a lot of great, dope stuff that I passed on. It just didn't speak to me at the time. It just wasn't. I didn't hear words. I didn't hear anything like with the record Family Ties and whatnot. You know, when I heard the beat, I was in love with the beat from the moment I heard it. And I had the hook from the moment I heard it. Those are the signs that this is for me. And once I hear that, once I hear that you think you will, but you know you won't. Once I hear that, I said, okay, I got something. Then I'm playing with it. And then I ended up writing the verse to it. But then like listening to it, I was like, man, I need somebody else on this. And I like undertones. I like that's kind of like, and maybe the Puff in me because I love Puff. I love the way Puff does stuff. He always has like even R&B undertones on some of his records and whatnot. And I got my guy Pharrell to do that because I needed like an Anderson .Paak type of texture to the voice. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. And then like he ended up singing the sample, the who's like because he's very versatile as well. He used to be an actor. He's a songwriter as well, so he's very versatile. And I knew if I put him in his place, he can kind of just go anywhere with it. And I always give people creative license. And I just told him, I said, bro, I need that. If you can give me a bridge, bro, just, you know, whatever you can give me. But I do need these things. Right. You know? And he was able to give me that and more. You know?
That's dope.
That's hard, man. And as you were talking, because it almost sounds like you got like some A&R in you as well, you know, like
I do.
Creating beats and everything. So one thing I want to ask, and then I want to get into the project. So you were Young LT, now you're Cardiac the Pulse. What was the transition from Young LT into Cardiac the Pulse?
I needed a new name, man. You know, that young shit got played out, man. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of super trash, you know what I'm saying? You know, it's your initial name type of thing that you go with. Yeah. And I was like, bro, I need something different, man. This is kind of, I don't really want to be like the little Bow Wows and the little Romeos and the Lil Zanes and, you know what I'm saying? I'm showing my age type of shit with that, right?
I forgot about that.
Yeah, exactly.
I just went to hardball.
Man, Hardball was fire. I don't fuck nobody say it. Hardball was fire. Sammy killed Hardball too. He killed it. Yep, he did. But exactly. That comes right to mind. But I just needed a new identity. Like I wasn't that person anymore. Yeah, I got a little older, and then I was searching for a new sound. I was looking for new producers to work with. I was looking for like just new everything. And then I found two guys to work with, Art the Beat and Nemec the producer. And I was like, bro, I got to change my name because they sound with they're brothers, by the way. They're brothers. They live together. And it's crazy to see brothers make music and make completely different sounds. They got two totally different styles from each other and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, yours is like this and yours is like this. And then y'all are okay. You know, okay. It was very different. But I was excited about it because it was like a newer sound. I hadn't heard their sound before, per se. So around that time is when I work in the hospital. I think I was a transporter then or something like that. And I went to the cardiac unit. I was like, damn, cardiac, I like that. And whatnot. Like I like that name. I didn't know what it meant at first. So I had to Google what cardiac meant. Right. And then I said, oh, it's from the heart. Like heart. I said, okay. I said, how about I just added the post later. And when a cardiac the post, because I know there's a cardiac the producer, but there's no cardiac the post though. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like DAPULSE. There's no cardiac to post, so stands out.
It does. It definitely does.
That's funny. I never would have thought the name came from. Yeah, I was working at the hospital. I was at the cardiac unit. I like that.
Yeah, I was taking patients into the cardiac unit, bro. I was like, damn, cardiac. I like the way that sound. That's kind of fire.
Yeah, you think about it. You hit the heart. You hit your heart. Music hit the heart and the soul.
Yeah,
I like that.
It comes from the heart. It touched the heart. I was like, that's kind of fire. I need to change my name to that.
Hey, you rolling the person down there, be like, you know what, man, you changed my life. You didn't have this.
I wouldn't have known.
Right? I would have never known. That's dope. I was curious about that too. Dad. I'm glad you asked that because I'm like, how do you get from young LT to cardiac? Right. We got our answer.
Yes, sir. You ain't got none of the same letters in there. When you think about it, like,
right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man.
Yeah. Dope, man.
Yeah. It's like a 360. I needed something that was going to be completely unique from where I was. You know?
Yeah. So let's talk about the project. I know Devin talked about getting into it. So Blue Roses.
Yes, sir.
Tell us, how did you come up with this concept, with this idea, Blue Roses? If you look at the album art, it stands out, out of the red roses, and the album art is amazing. So talk a little bit about that. Like, how did Blue Roses come about?
Shout out to King Miles, who made that, who makes all my artwork.
Dope.
Local artist and rapper, a great MC. Blue Roses went through many different phases, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I switched concepts and titles probably 4 or 5 times. You know, there's like 4 or 5 different track lists of that record. But reason why I think color always describes mood. Okay. You know, I have a project that's on Bandcamp, my first one, which is called the Shaded Gray Project, Shaded Gray EP and whatnot. I like color. I think it describes mood, and that's kind of where I was at the time and whatnot. And Blue Roses just became about balance for me. You know, like some of the records have like masculine and feminine energy in them.
Yeah.
And whatnot. And some just have more than others. Like Drum Work is definitely all masculine energy. You know what I'm saying? But records like Caught Up got the masculine and the feminine vibe to it because I want to show a balance because I like projects that are balanced. I like music that is balanced. Probably why I love Puff's projects so much when Diddy do stuff.
Yeah.
Because Diddy has a lot of balance to the projects. Yeah. You'll have the R&B, hip hop records, and you have the hard shit as well. I think you're supposed to have a balance to it. Yeah. And there's always a little bit of consciousness in it. It made me think about G-Dep, Child of the Ghetto, whatever that song was. And whatnot, how he had like balance to his all his projects from Biggie to Black Rob, all of them have that type of balance. And those are the concepts where everything comes from for me. So making this project, I wanted to make sure I had the balance of it, which is the reason why Britt kind of sums everything up in the intro with the poem, you know, because she gave me something great and she sounded great. She did. Yeah. And whatnot. She did it in one take, if we being honest.
Oh, that's always good.
Like Britt is
that studio
fire.
Time.
She was fire with it.
Yeah, man. So what were some of the iterations though? You don't mind me asking, like what was, I don't know if, you know, you probably use those down the line, but what were some of the things before it was called Blue Roses? What were some of the ideas that you had?
What was the the name of those titles of those records? I would have to look at my phone, bro, because I don't even remember them. I'm a person that's very present.
Okay,
I let go of past things. Like I'm here, so I kind of like forget some of those things until I have to go back and revisit. Like, oh yeah, I forgot this was right. I had, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I think one was what was one of the titles? On Behalf of Cap Drive or something like that. It was something like that.
Okay.
It was a lot of titles like that.
I like that too.
Yeah, so you got to run that one back.
I know. I like that. On Behalf of Cap Drive.
Got like a ring to it.
Yeah,
like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like, so, if I'm understanding it, like you talking about like people that be lying?
Yeah.
That's dope.
I thought you were talking about Capital Drive. Never mind.
Yeah, and that could be a double entendre. You know what I'm saying? That's dope. That's dope. When first thing I heard Cap, I'm like, like you supposed to be lying in these streets.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah, that's dope.
It was both.
That's
y'all
dope.
are completely right.
That's why we're producers, man. See, Why y'all producers? I got that consumer ear.
Nothing wrong with that. We need consumers. We need that.
Yeah, man.
Valuable.
I was going to ask real quick, like when you're going through your ideas, you see like the Yays and the, some other artists, they like to have whiteboards in there. Even Joe Budden, when he's doing his podcast stuff, they got the whiteboards on. What is that process for you, that brain dump for you? I just learned that word, brain dump, when you just get the stuff all out to ideas.
That's new. I've never heard that.
Yeah, man, I never. Hey, look, is that in the corporate world, Devin? The brain dumps.
They say brain dumps. Yeah,
they say brain dump. So what is that brain dumping for you? Like you just got a legal pad and you're writing things down, cell phone, putting things in your, your cell phone memory. What is that for you?
Cell phone in the notes.
Notes. Okay.
It's long. It's a lot of different. I always title it, and I'm writing names of songs and little notes about what this needs to be changed, or we need a feature here, or I need to rewrite this verse. Let's do the hook over, or this person produced it. Maybe we need new drums. Maybe we need to remix the drums, or the sounds aren't. This third mix, fourth mix. Like there's a lot of that and whatnot, because a lot of the records went 2, 3, 4 mixes. If we being honest.
Hey, the notes get real though, man.
They do.
I brain dump a good bit in the notes. No, not necessarily writing songs, but like I hear a one liner somebody said, and I'm like, that spoke to me. Let me put it down. I might need that a little bit later on in life. Or with DJing, I got a note that I'm never going to get through, with songs I need to make sure I got in my Serato, and like I'm never going to clear it, but I keep adding to it, or like, play around with this mix one day. Like I definitely understand the notes, and how that goes. And I actually, I don't know if this is going to be relevant to the conversation or not, but nonetheless, I'm going to say it. Yeah, my homegirl said something to me last week, just asked me a question kind of about my goals and things. And I said, I'm sure I got something in my notes somewhere, and she's like, well, I know your notes tend to produce action, so I ain't too worried about it. And I just went on the whole rabbit hole. I was looking for notes like 5-6 years ago. I was like, man, I forgot that was in here, and it was stuff that was speaking to me. It's relevant today. So I definitely,
bro, that happens to me all the time.
Yeah,
go back and I look and like, damn, I was on this, I did this, but I forgot about that and that. I never achieved those two things, or I just lost track of it. I got so focused here, that's crazy. I do that too.
And I was looking at some of your posts, and I don't know if it was like planned out to kind of roll out the project this way or not, but I thought it was genius if it was. But how you was kind of like posting a different song each day with the backstory behind it. So I was reading one of them. It might have been High Note, but you were saying like it was a song you had like a long time ago, and you kind of brought it back, did some stuff to it for the project. Was it a lot of that for you with this kind of, we talking about looking at your brain dumps from 5-6 years ago, going back to, oh, dang, that was there and it's relevant now? A lot of that this time?
It was definitely a lot of that. Because I have a lot of songs that I've never used that are just sitting there. And when High Note is 6, maybe 7 years old. And when we didn't remix it at all. That's the original mix that Mammoth did to it from years ago. I recorded it with him and we mixed it there. And I think Fame ended up mastering that record. So it's still there. I was like, yeah, this record still sounds great. I remember performing it a long time ago because it was like the last song I would perform, and people would always sing it and whatnot. It always catch people like that. And I thought, I definitely got to use this. And I think it was an underappreciated song and whatnot by me too. It's something that I really, really loved that song when I made it. And it takes me back to when I heard it and I was like, damn, I really love this song. Yeah. This record was great, and people need to hear this again.
Let's let them hear it, J. Maybe we should get into it. Let's start there.
Yeah. So Cartier, what off the project Blue Roses? Where you want to go to next? We'll give the listeners a sample so they can go ahead and taste some more. So where do you want to go next? Or where you want to go first? I should say.
Well, we was talking about High Note. We might as well play High Note.
Let's go to High Note.
Going out on the high note. Going out on the high note. Going out on the high note. High note. Going out on the high note. Going out on the high note. Going out on the high note. 100 bottles at the table, fuck it. If we going out, we gon' pull up in the bucket with the partition, part tuck it. Coke 45 on me, nigga. I'ma hand you lucky. Who the fuck want it? On some MOP shit, niggas getting tense. Over the edge and pushing dudes to the left. Compact the inner circle, we so dense. Hoes throw it in the circle just to make sense. And the diamonds on the dancing. At the sequence I'm familiar with. Money comes and goes, so do these hoes. Don't invest too much with too little gain. Life ain't a game. Play your position till the time is straight. Then next them niggas, what's your life like? With their lifeline on decline. Don't worry, we'll be just fine. We going out on the high note.
Woo. Sound good. That sounds like the quality is just rich, and you can just hear everything. And it sounds good. It sounds good, man.
And that's like one of the first times when I really, I've always sang on stuff and had other people do it, but that's like one of them times where I sang it and I couldn't find nobody else to do it.
Yeah.
I couldn't find nobody else to do it and whatnot. So we just kept it and whatnot because I didn't really, I'm not a singer. So I may have songwriting ideas and melody ideas and whatnot, but I don't always want to be the one necessarily singing. Sometimes other people need to do it because they have the voice for it. I don't necessarily have that at all. So, but it worked out, I guess, for the most part.
Yeah, and High Note closed out the project. So I thought it was fitting that going out on a high note. And
High note,
and I thought it kind of summed up almost like the overall kind of contrast throughout the project. It's a lot of you talked about balance with Diddy when he does his work, but you hear the hook, it comes in, it's kind of smooth, spacey. The high note kind of gives you an R&B vibe, but you come in on the verse like you had something to say that was bottled up, you had to get it out. So it's like it's a distinct contrast between the vibe of the hook and how hard you come in on the verse. I like the way you sum up the project, and because that vibe is evident throughout, as we'll hear as we get into a few of these other tracks. Was that intentional?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's all intentional. Very much so. Very much. I think too much when it comes to music, but I think that's a good thing, and it's my downfall. You know what I'm saying? Because you become self-conscious about records, trying to chase perfection, and there's no such thing as perfection. I had to learn that.
Yeah.
Like a few years ago, I had to really learn that you can't really make it perfect. We can make it as good as we can make it, but we can't make it perfect, bro. Like that's not happening.
Right.
And whatnot,
No,
that's good. Where you want to go next?
Where do I want to go next? How about drum work?
Drum work. Do it.
Contrast.
That masculine energy.
Talk your shit, yeah. Pressure. Yeah, I'm in my bag in this motherfucker. Yeah, I'm in my bag in this motherfucker. About to go dumb in this motherfucker. About to beat on the drum in this motherfucker. Yeah, that's that drum work. About to spin the block, shooting bars, watch me work. Yeah, that's that drum work. About to spin the block, shooting bars, watch me work. I ain't nothing like these rap niggas. Shooting off at the mouth, I got hair tricks. I do. Raised with the scammers and the deal riggers. They gon' plug bro, they trim him with the clippers. He a lean sipper, baseline dresser. I'm captain of the drip though, I'm the black skipper. But my ginger way thicker and she fuck strippers. Old dog ass bitch, the pick of the litter. Sipping light liquor, the dog in my liver. A COVID vaccine don't mean you a liver. I'm the balancer beam, the black man's a pillar. Too much fem shit though, it's a killer. It's that drum work, that's that Conway. Ain't no misdirection, I'm a one way. I be the same, to the damn freight. If I see you again, my nigga touche. Yeah, I'm in my bag in this motherfucker. Yeah, I'm in my bag in this motherfucker. About to go
dumb in this motherfucker. About to beat on the drum in this motherfucker.
I'm curious because this is a record that the drums complement the song. So did you have this already? Was this already produced, or did you come to the producer and say, "I got this idea for a song called Drum Work. Here's what I'm looking for.
So this is produced by my little brother DG3. He already had this produced and whatnot. He likes me on hard shit. He always has and whatnot. You know, it's the older I get, it's harder to be on harder records like that sometimes and whatnot. It takes up so much energy. I used to do a lot of those, but like as I get older, I don't really want to do that shit as much anymore.
Look, y'all, he's cardiac, not young LT.
Right. Exactly. But he I forgot what he named the beat. It was named something and whatnot. And I just thought about drum work when I was listening to the beat and whatnot. Like it should be called drum work.
Yeah.
And whatnot. And it's like it's a little, you can't hear it. It's a Nipsey Hussle sample in there and whatnot. You know, it's like a small Nipsey. He know how much I love Nipsey. So like when I heard it, I fell in love with it. He was mad at me at first. He didn't want no hook on the record. He was like, bro, let's no hook. I was like, no, this need a hook, bro. I can't do this. Not have a hook on this record, bro. It's gotta have I gotta say something here, bro. It's gotta happen. Like I just need a space here like that.
Yeah, the drums.
What was your mental space when you were writing this one? Because it sounds like you were in a certain mental space when you wrote this one.
This is I may have been listening to Beanie Siegel. I may have been listening to Jeezy. This is that versus that Dipset Locks energy. Like all that type of energy inspired the fuck out of me. I just remember how raw that was and how like, you know, it was a feeling. It was a feeling that I wanted to capture and you know with beats like that I feel like I can just kind of let go. I can just kind of go a little harder and be a little nastier.
Yeah. I have to ask now, are you a Griselda fan?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I could tell.
So did I catch that line right? Is that drum work? Is that Conway?
Drum work. It's that Conway.
Okay.
Yep.
If you don't know, Conway with Griselda has a label called Drumworks. So
he does. Yes, he does.
When I was listening to it, I said, okay, I see you, Cardiac. All right. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Beast. So, let's do two more. Where you want to go next?
How about y'all pick the last two?
Okay. Where you want to go, Devin? Where you want to go?
Well, you know, I gotta. So what the people don't know is that 1J worked on this project too.
Yes, he is.
So we got to go love for free. So I always tell people, you know, 1J, he does this thing on the music side too. Don't let him fool you. He big on the podcasting now, but he'll cook something up too. So we're gonna love for free.
Really
1J worked on this one.
When the vibe right. But yeah, this.
I mean, this shit ain't cheap, you know what I'm saying? I mean, come on. I mean, you gotta pay the cost to be the boss, right, Shawty? Okay. What you waiting on? What's the hold up? You taking too long. Fucking slow up. I'm trying to pull up. Ass arched up. Old thirsty ass nigga, he I'm parched up. Trying to press that, put the starch up. Big step in the pussy, I'ma march up. 21 gun salute, termite teeth, sharp suit. Yo, I ain't afraid to hit when it's hot. They get what I got, the Vic and apply. Have my dick in her ribs, stomach and knots. I'm going up and down like 6 o'clock. She got me going rounds, let me pour a shot. The neighbor said the sound, you acting like they not. I think she spellbound the way she worked the box. Take a smoke break. Put my curve in the cookie, come and get it taste. I mean, you know what time it is, right? I know.
I mean, baby.
Got nasty on that boy.
A little bit.
I don't even remember how we even got.
I do.
Okay, you can tell me because I forgot.
I do. We were going back and forth about songs for a minute.
Okay.
And beats for a minute and whatnot. And I remember I've always loved that sample.
Yes. Okay.
Because that's old Rockefeller shit, rail and whatnot. That's from the Streets is Watching.
Yes.
Soundtrack. And I sent it to you. I think you flipped it 3 different times. You sent me 3 different. You took me 3 different ones and whatnot, and that's the one I picked and whatnot because it was a vibe. It was groovy as a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like it was super wavy, and I just was I needed that and whatnot. Like that song really helped me with the project a lot. Like, you know, it helped me kind of that one. Lucid Dreams kind of helped me get more of a direction of where I was going and whatnot. You know, y'all that it really did inspire me. I said, okay, I like where I'm going here because I was starting from scratch. And I was like, I like what I got so far. Like this is kind of like a vibe, and I could really explore this a little bit more.
Yeah.
For me, it's always an honor to have somebody on your record. So like when you sent me the first like draft, I was like, oh, this just okay. And then you sent me the final one, boy. You know, he was like, man, don't you know, it's always one of those things like don't leak the record out. And I you know, it'd be funny like you hear like you a Drake or you whomever be like somebody leaked the record out, Wayne, somebody leaked the record out, and I was doing my best, like I want people to hear this so bad, but I was in the car. Just doing the car test. I always do the car test, and I'm just like, Cardiac got crazy on this one here. So when it finally came out, I'm like, okay, y'all, here's what I've been wanting y'all to listen to for the longest. But yeah, man, you snapped on that. I appreciate that.
I do certain tests with records like that. Every woman I played that record for loved that record.
Yeah,
they all love that record.
You snapped
in love with that record.
I remember when I was listening to the project, I was like, I wonder if this the track Moan J did. Then I think when I texted you and you told me once, all right, I had it right. Because I like this one because for one, I'm a sucker for like a soul sample, even though I don't think it's necessarily a soul sample, but it got that soul feel to it. But it, like you switched up your flow in the middle of the verse. So all right, so this one shows Cardiac's versatility. Like we done heard him be able to ride the beat, but like you had a certain cadence going and then you switched that up. Like it's like it's the tap dancing coming out of you. Like
definitely
the tap dancing coming out. You can hear that like the
You're right.
So like it's like cadence and rudiments, you know, to me, like paradiddles and stuff. So like, I love the way you showcased your skills as an MC on that track, and it didn't take away from it. It still kept that vibe. It's still smooth. Like that's a good record, man.
Thank you.
You snapped on that. I'm torn. So I have two records that I want to like rock, and I know we can do one more because y'all got to need to go listen to the project. We can't give you the whole project on the podcast. You got to stream it yourself.
Yes, sir.
We'll pick it up. Matter of fact, go on iTunes and buy it right now. You can still buy music on iTunes, right?
You can.
Yes. Let's do that. But I'm gonna go here because this when we were at No Studios, you played the record, you let me listen to the record, whatever, of the entire album Blue Roses and what you were going through. This one right here, I think you said it wasn't even finished yet.
What?
This one right here, boy. Oh my goodness. And then I had met James Tatum a while back. He was man. I'm gonna go play it, man.
Go ahead.
She wanna ride for the feeling. She wanna ride custom stars in the ceiling. Hope you don't catch feelings. Hope they in they feelings. Yeah. She wanna ride for the feeling. Yeah. She wanna ride custom stars in the ceiling. Hope you don't catch feelings. Yeah. Hope they in they feelings. Yeah. They love to ride just for the feeling. The atmosphere in the ceiling is so appealing. A couple links on my neck, they think I'm dealing. Been the corner in the stang in your soul healing. A couple biddies on the text, you know I'm killing. Pushing P around here, and they all willing. But you know the rest, a young nigga blessed. Atlas English with the wrist, it's all finesse. Plugged by the best, she wanna know what's next. You gotta invest, it's more than a test. Too many eggs in the basket, kill a bird's nest. The golden goose in the noose, I ain't choking up. James Harden step back, I'm pulling up. Couple green bucks, get a nigga cleaned up. Now I'm back en route, back streets pulling out. No hard times, humble us, fuck a drought. She wanna ride for the feeling. She wanna ride custom stars in the ceiling. Hope you don't catch feelings. Hope they in they feelings. Yeah. She wanna ride for the feeling.
So I showed Cardiac the message I sent to James. I said, bruh, I heard what you did on that Stars in the Ceiling. Whew. This was what, June? This was June 3rd, 2022. The project was still being worked on. And when I hear something like that, I just gotta reach out to him like, dude, snapped. Dog,
he did,
snapped.
bro. He did. He already had a lot of that. He had the beat. He had all of that. He had that already and whatnot. Because Payday had connected us after I played the project for Payday, and then maybe like a day or two later, I ended up at his house. He had never heard me. I had heard 1 or 2 records of him, and he started playing tons of records. And I was like, bro, you have a lot of heat here, bro. Like, you have a lot and whatnot. And it's crazy because he told me that he had never had a rapper rap on his beats before.
Oh, wow. So you the first one to do it. Wow.
First. Yep. I said, bro, this is easy. I can rap on this easy. This is way too smooth.
So did you record it? Like, so where do y'all record this at? His place, or he had his own stuff? You just took it back and you recorded with you?
I went with him. He gave me the stuff from his house.
Okay.
And then he was supposed. Did he come to the studio? I think he did. And we went back to my studio, Timeless Studios. TK, the engineer, TK mixed the record. I recorded my vocals there. You know, we went through a process because there was a lot of guitars and shit in there, bro. You know, it was a tedious mixing process, and I'm all about the mixing process. I'm all about making sure we sound crisp when people hear it.
Yes, and it's evident throughout this whole entire record here. I mean, all of it, like, it sounds really good. Really good. Devin even said while we were doing pre-production, he was like, "Man, I thought I was in the studio."
Yeah, man. Came on in the headphones. Hold on, I'm gonna drop me a verse real quick.
Man.
Go ahead and mess this song up real quick.
It sounds great.
Thank you,
man.
No, this was good.
I appreciate it.
And this came out right around Valentine's Day, right? Am I making that?
Yes, sir. The 22nd.
Okay, so like a week later. 22nd. Yeah, this was
22nd. Yeah.
This was a good February vibe for sure. So now I love the project. If you haven't listened to it already, Cardiac the Pulse, Blue Roses. It's in your phones right now. Make sure you go get that, download it, stream it, buy it, run that up. You need that.
Yes. You'll throw a link in the Spotify link, iTunes link in the description, so we can kind of get that. So folks ain't even got to search hard. It's right there. Boom.
Right there for you.
Right there for you. Go click that.
Yep. Go click that now.
It's the luxury.
With this record, with Blue Rose, real quick, what do you want when people are listening to this record? What are you hoping? Because a lot of artists are like, I hope people get this out of this. Like, I hope people get that out of this. What do you want people to get out of Blue Roses once they're listening to it?
My versatility. My versatility. And that I know how to make songs. I know how to make records. I know how to make them. That's that. I mean, you know, if they get anything else, that'd be great too. If they get songwriting, if that's fine. They hear bars, that's fine too, and whatnot. But I want them to just be able to get that though. That, you know, I'm a very versatile artist and I can make a lot of different things.
Dope, man. You absolutely are.
Thank
you.
The
pen is crazy.
Thank you.
The pen, the ear, the arrangements, the everything. Just getting the right people in the right room, like that. That is a talent that a lot of folks don't have, and learning from your past and where you went through that artist development piece, and then you being poetry and all that just sums up who you are. So you gonna give somebody a heart attack.
It takes time too, like trying to put together some of that stuff. It takes time. Like, you know, I don't have the $1 million budgets, so it takes time putting this song together. Getting the people to get on the records, the features, you know what I'm saying? Lining up schedules and stuff. Like, it takes time and whatnot, you know, to put some of the stuff together and whatnot. You know, that's another thing I want to let people know. It's not always like that fast. I mean, there has been instances where it has come together fast and whatnot, but it doesn't always come together that fast.
It's been over a year?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, June 3rd. Yeah. So you've been working on it for a while, and you hit. Yeah, I reached out once I heard the project June 3rd. You let me play the sample of the project. So you've been doing that before then. So you've been rocking.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask, because I know, like you say, we're getting ready for Sure the Vibes Fest last year, so it was probably around that June 3rd date. Because Little do you know,
Yep.
I think one J let me hear stars in the ceiling in the studio.
Oh yeah, I
hear this.
I said, bro,
this,
you got.
man.
Don't tell nobody. This right here is about to go crazy.
Yeah, so I think like a week or two later, I text, Cardiac and say, "Hey, bro, I hear you got something cooking with the eyes. Like, what's going on?" So you know, you told me, it takes time. So, last June you had something that this came out in February. Hasn't even been a month yet. So what was the release process getting this out?
Man, like I had to stop becoming an overthinker. I think that's the key. Because when I was making this project, I let go of overthinking. I was overthinking a lot of my other stuff. So I just kind of let whatever happened happen. As far as the release process, I had to let it go. Once I was done with it, it was for everybody else. The very last song I made is probably Up and Up. That was in probably like November.
Okay.
I felt like it needed more energy. Yeah, that's once because I've had it for so long. I've been listening to it for so long. I've been in love with it for so long that I gotta let it go.
Share. That's
share
like a child.
Share the vibes, literally.
Yeah.
No pun intended. See there. Yeah, and he got the shirt. I got one too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No. Yeah. Speaking of Share the Vibes, man, we in the planning process for this year's Share the Vibe Fest. So we're gonna announce that date here real soon. We're starting to talk to some venues, getting things in motion. But prayerfully, we can get Cardiac to grace us on that stage this year. He couldn't make it last year, but I'm hoping we can get him in there this year, man. As you heard today, there's good reason for him to come share some vibes with us. So I'm hoping we can make that happen.
I definitely want to share some.
No, man, I know we coming up on time, but anything else you want to share with the listeners before we get up out of here?
Dates, anything popping off, anything touring the album, anything merch, anything you got?
There will be Blue Roses merch.
Hey.
I am thankful for everybody who listened. I am grateful and humble. Everybody who listened, who gave me feedback, who've even named their favorite songs to me and what it meant to them, what it felt to them. I am truly grateful for that because that means more to me than anything else. That the relatability of the songs and it touched people. That's great. There will be a Blue Roses Deluxe though, and whatnot. Ooh. So there is more and whatnot. There will be some videos too, and whatnot. We've been working on concepts for some stuff, and trying to get the right things, the right one. I'm also watching what people are listening to and what people are naming as their favorites. I want to make sure that I give them the ones that they wanted to.
Yeah.
And whatnot, because that's the luxury of being independent, not being on a major. And whatnot is that I can make the choice. So
yeah, that's dope.
And whatever they tell me, I just go with that.
Nice. And we're right here at time, but I got to do the call back to our episode with Shell. Always talking about having your business together, your paperwork. Can you speak to the business side of getting your project out and what all goes into that from a business perspective? With your paperwork and your registrations and all that, making sure you get, getting paid for what you're doing and all that good stuff. Like, can you talk about that just for a little bit before we get up out of here?
It's vital. A lot of artists don't. I got friends who don't, who just don't see the value in it. It's important to copyright things. It's important to register things. It's important to do split sheets with people. It's important because something may work somewhere or somebody may sample something that you had because industry guys listen all the time. Little do we know and whatnot. It's happened to me personally where my concepts and titles have been heard by other people because they were following me and they reached out to me about certain stuff. So it does happen and it's good to protect yourself and whatnot. It's a big part of the game, more than what people think it is. The creative process is the stuff that I love the most, but you can't go further without the business because you have to protect yourself because people will take, people will borrow, they will steal, they will sample, they will do whatever of your material, your words, your concepts, your hooks, everything can be taken because you can, if people are influenced by stuff so much.
Yeah.
with now. We have like this great volume of music nowadays that we can just draw to and draw from.
Cardiac don't play. I've seen screenshots of him copywriting stuff. He sends me stuff, and I love working with someone like that is honest and say, hey, look, I did this. I'm gonna show you that I did this. Check this out. Do this thing. And he if he did it for me, I can only imagine for the other artists that he worked with, the same thing, like, checking in with them. And that's, you got a lot of features on this project as well, too. So checking in with each other, that's a solid person. So that's people you want to really work with.
And also, I tried to give people time. If they didn't have BMI, ASCAP, or CSAC, I tried to give them time, too, and whatnot, so that we can get everything together. If they did, they did. If they didn't, they didn't.
That's solid.
And I told them, hey, we moving forward, and they be fine with it. Or when we got this far, and we'll do this from now on. But I like to do square business with people because I like the same thing done with me.
Right.
I'm not here to cheat anybody out of anything.
That's solid.
I love it. I love it. Mwanje, you got anything else, man?
No, I mean, I think that's it, man. Thank you once again for popping on in. Coming to the Ambition Center. Shout out to Marcel. Want to throw him out there as well too, for this wonderful space, allowing us to use it. And man, continue the great work, dude. I can't wait for this deluxe, man. Anything you need from me, let me know. I got an idea. I think we talked about it a little bit last year. So we still gonna talk about that.
We did.
Man, continue to do great work, dude, and continue to get your story out there as well too, because I think it's important not only just playing the music but also telling people who you are. Because I think fans nowadays, they don't want just the artist; they want
the story, they want the person,
they want everything. It's crazy that they want everything. Because back then it was Beyonce would pop out, she might talk about Popeyes, and then that'll be it, and then we done. You know what I'm saying? She's a lifelong member of Popeyes.
Right.
But now we want all of it. We want the Ivy Parks. We want it all. How many children you got? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
But man, continue to do great work.
Thank you.
It's a great project.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you for coming through, man. How can people connect with you?
At Cardiac the Post everywhere. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever. TikTok is all Cardiac the Post. Always.
Cardiac
Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, Cardiac the Post everywhere.
Cardiac the Post.
Yes, sir.
You got
Not
it.
just the name, it's the brand.
There it is, man. Hey, well, this has been a good one, man. Thank you all for listening. Once again, I'm Devin Jenkins, a.k.a. Jink the DJ, founder, CEO, Share the Vibes, LLC. Make sure you're connected with us on Instagram. Join the Facebook group. Check out the website. Check out the other podcast episodes. We got some stuff in the metaverse, all that good stuff, man. So engage with us. We're going to keep it coming, man. More vibes to come, more episodes to come. Make sure you check out Audio Moguls Media. Click that link in the description. Check out our podcast as well as our podcast mates on the Audio Moguls Media Podcast Network. Dope content out there for us, by us. So make sure you get involved in that. Man, thank you all for joining. Thank you all for listening. Keep sharing the vibes. Stay blessed. Stay safe. My words kind of ran together that I do that sometimes. It's the country.
It's all right. It's all right.
Stay safe. Stay blessed. Until next time. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.